Ever felt like the world was set up to keep you in line? Like there's an invisible script telling you how to think, what to chase, and who to be? Work hard, obey the rules, be nice, don't rock the boat, fit in, because if you don't, you'll be left behind. But here's the thing, that script is a lie, and the men who refuse to follow it, they terrify society. That's why Sigma males are a threat. They don't crave validation, they don't bend to pressure, they don't waste time impressing people who don't matter. And that makes the system panic, because if more men realize they didn't have to chase approval, money, or fake success, the entire game would collapse. That's why society keeps trying to erase Sigma males, to shame them, isolate them, and make them doubt themselves. But here's the kicker, it never works, because a true Sigma, he doesn't play by their rules. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why society fears you, and why they can't do a damn thing to stop you. Let's get into it. 1. The world sees them as loners, but they're actually kings without thrones. Most men look at Sigma males and see loners, outsiders, or rebels. They assume that a Sigma male is socially awkward, shy, or antisocial. But the truth? A Sigma male isn't a loner by necessity, he's a loner by choice. He could be at the center of attention if he wanted to. He could dominate social circles like an alpha. He could manipulate people like a beta, but he doesn't need to. And that's what 99% of men don't get. Most guys crave validation. They need people to approve of them. They thrive on acceptance. But a Sigma male? He operates outside the system, and that drives people insane. They can't classify him. He's not an alpha, beta, or even a gamma. He's something different. And when people can't define something, they fear it. This is why so many people try to pull a Sigma male back into the system. They try to label him as weird or antisocial. They tell him he needs to network more. They assume he's bad with women. But the reality? He simply values his time and energy too much to waste it. The Sigma male doesn't chase meaningless friendships. He doesn't engage in pointless drama. He doesn't need a group to validate him. And that kind of independence is a threat. Most men will never understand this because they're too afraid of being alone. But a Sigma, he understands that true power comes from standing alone, not from blending in. And that's why the world will always misunderstand him. 2. They attract women without even trying, and it pisses people off. Most guys struggle with women. They chase, they overthink texts, they analyze every little move. But a Sigma male, he does none of that. And somehow women can't resist him. To the average guy, this is infuriating because they've been programmed to believe that women want nice guys who put them on a pedestal, flashy guys who flex their money and status, overly aggressive guys who try to dominate every conversation. But Sigma males break every rule. They don't chase it, they don't show off. They don't care about impressing anyone. And that's precisely why they're so attractive. Women sense that a Sigma male is different. He's not eager to please. He doesn't need validation. He's comfortable being alone. And that's powerful. Because deep down, women don't want a man who needs them. They want a man who chooses them, but could walk away at any moment. That's what makes a Sigma dangerous. Most men will never understand that less is more. They'll keep texting too much. They'll keep over-explaining themselves. They'll keep seeking permission. While a Sigma, he just exists in his own world. And that mystery, that's what drives women wild. This is why alphas hate Sigmas. Because an alpha has to fight for attention. A Sigma, he just exists, and the world comes to him. Most guys will never get this, because they're too busy trying to impress people instead of mastering themselves. 3. They're ruthless with their energy, and it makes people uncomfortable. Most men waste their energy on things that don't matter. They chase women who don't respect them. They argue with people who don't deserve their time. They seek approval from people who don't even care about them. But a Sigma, he's ruthless with his energy. If something doesn't serve him, he cuts it out. If someone drains his energy, he disappears. If a situation isn't worth it, he walks away without hesitation. And this scares people because the world runs on distraction. Most people need drama to feel alive. Most people need conflict to feel important. Most people need approval to feel like they matter. But a Sigma? He thrives in silence. He doesn't need to be part of the noise. He doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need people to understand him. And that level of detachment, it makes people deeply uncomfortable because they realize something. If a Sigma male disappeared tomorrow, he wouldn't miss them. And that's the ultimate power move. Most men will never understand this because they're too afraid to be alone with their thoughts. But a Sigma, he understands that true strength comes from mastering yourself before anything else. And that's why, no matter what society tries to do, Sigma males will always win. 4. They see through society's lies and refuse to play along. Most men are trapped in a game they don't even realize they're playing. They follow the rules. They do what they're told. They chase money, women, and approval because that's what they've been programmed to do. But a Sigma male, he sees through all of it. He realizes that society doesn't actually reward the hardest workers. It rewards those who know how to manipulate the system. Women aren't attracted to the nicest guys. They're drawn to men who are rare, unpredictable, and hard to control. Success isn't about grinding 24/7. It's about leveraging your strengths and playing the game differently. This is why Sigma males refuse to conform. They question everything. Why should they waste their lives in a soul-crushing 9-to-5 job? Why should they chase status symbols to impress people they don't even respect? Why should they follow trends when they know most people are just sheep? Most men never ask these questions. They do what's expected of them because they're afraid of being different. But a Sigma, he embraces his outsider status. And that makes society hate him because society needs obedient men. Men who will work themselves to death without questioning why. Men who will follow trends, buy the right things, and stay in line. Men who won't challenge the system. But a Sigma, he disrupts everything. He refuses to be manipulated by women, media, or social pressure. He doesn't waste time proving himself to people who don't matter. He's building a life on his terms, and the system hates that because the moment more men wake up, the entire game falls apart. 5. They can't be controlled, and that terrifies people. Most men are predictable. They can be manipulated with praise. Give them a little validation, and they'll do whatever you want. Fear. Make them scared of being alone, broke, or rejected, and they'll fall in line. Jealousy. Show them what others have, and they'll chase it like dogs. But a Sigma male, he's immune to all of it. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't fear being alone. He doesn't care about competing with anyone but himself. And that makes him dangerous, because you can't control a man who doesn't need you. That's why women test Sigmas so much. They can't stand that he's not desperate for their attention. Bosses and companies hate Sigmas. He won't blindly obey authority. Weak men resent Sigmas. He reminds them of everything they're too afraid to be. Most men spend their whole lives trying to fit in. But a Sigma, he spends his time figuring out how to break free. And that's why no matter what society tries to do, they can't erase Sigma males. Because in the end, they need men like him more than he needs them. So here's the brutal truth. Sigma males will always be misunderstood. They'll always be called weird, distant, or cold. They'll always make people uncomfortable. They'll always be the ones society doesn't know how to handle. But guess what? That's the greatest advantage of all. Because while everyone else is stuck in the system, a Sigma male is free. He's building his own empire. He's living by his own rules. He's mastering himself while the rest of the world chases illusions. And that's why he wins. So tell me this. Are you ready to step into your Sigma power? Or are you going to keep playing a game you were never meant to win? Drop a comment below and let's talk. And if you want more content on becoming unstoppable, subscribe now and join the movement. This is just the beginning.